Islam came in 635 AD.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. When you want to disprove Islam, my brother, when you want to disprove Islam, at least acquire little knowledge before. You should even acquire little knowledge on history, in the field of history, in the field of the Quran and the Hadith. At least you should acquire little knowledge over there before you come out to disprove Islam. Islam did not come 635 AD. I will show you when Islam came. Islam began in the days of Adam, but that's not my point for now. If you are saying Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam brought Islam, let's agree to decide. Agree. He was born in April 571 AD, according to certain sources of the history, AD 571. And he became a prophet and messenger of God when he was 40. So when you add 40 to 571, you have AD 611, not AD 635. You failed history and you are lying to your people, thinking you know Islam. You see the difference? You don't even know. Your calculations are wrong, yet you are here disgracing yourself. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook and also on TikTok. Let's analyze this man and come. The name is Uti Daawah. The Christians watch these videos and they don't even cross-check that they are being lied to or they are being deceived. Let's enjoy the video. When truth comes, falsehood perishes. For falsehood by its nature is bound to perish.
And spiritual center, mashallah,
Takbir.
Islam came in 635 AD. The Gospel of John was written around 100 AD. So 535 years came after the Gospel of John. John is an eyewitness, my dear Muhammad.
Historically, we don't even know who John is. Look, and the guy has even proved that it is Iona, not John. So they remove the I there, they put J and become John. Or Ion, they remove the I and then they put J over there and they become John. They don't even know who wrote it. I'm telling you. Talk less of the person becoming an eyewitness. None of them were eyewitness. Let's prove from the Bible whether John was an eyewitness. John 20 verse 30, John 21 verse 25. First and come. And then we will go to the Quran and see whether the author of the Quran was an eyewitness or not. John 20 verse 30 says, and truly Jesus did many other signs in the presence of his disciples, not in their presence. John was not an eyewitness. He never was an eyewitness, and he can never be an eyewitness. Why do you lie to people that John was an eyewitness to the situation, which are not written in this book? John wasn't an eyewitness. Let's look at John 21 verse number 25 and then confirm over there too and come. If we are to begin in context, I'll start from John 21 verse number 23 to 25. It says, then these sayings went out among the brethren that this disciple would not die. Yet Jesus did not say to him that he would not die. But if I will that he remain till I come, what is that to you? This is the disciple who testified of these things and wrote these things. And we know that his testimony is true. If John had been the writer, he wouldn't have even said this. He wouldn't have even said this. John is writing about some disciple. He was not an eyewitness. And verse 25 says, and there are also many other things that Jesus did, which if they were written one by one, I suppose that even the word itself could not contain the books that will be written. Amen. So it is obviously clear John wasn't an eyewitness, and so was Luke, not an eyewitness. Luke 1 verse 1 to 4. And so wasn't Matthew an eyewitness. Matthew 9 verse number 9. So was also Mark. You read Matthew 10 verse 1 to 6, you see that Mark wasn't part of the disciples. So your synoptic gospel has no eyewitness at all. It has no eyewitness. But who spoke about the Quran and who is the author of the Quran? The Quran has said Muhammad isn't the author. It says in the Quran 10 verse 44, these are accounts from the unseen, which we reveal to you. Who is the one revealing the Quran? Quran 12 verse 1 to 2. It is Allah. Quran 12 verse number 1 to 2. You don't know Islam. You don't understand Islam. You choose to understand Islam with your emotions instead of critically analyzing what is being written in the Quran. In Quran 12, verse 1 to 2, it says Alif Lam Ra. Tilka ayatul kitab al-mubin. These are the verses of the clear book. Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyan la'allakum ta'qilun. We have revealed it in Arabic so that you may understand. Similarly, it is also mentioned in Quran chapter 18, verse number 1. In Quran 18, verse number 1, which says, Alhamdulillahi alladhi anzala ala abdihi al-kitaba wa lam yaj'al lahu iwaja. Praise be to Allah who revealed the book to his servant and allowed it no distortion. Now, if it is Allah, Allah is all-knowing. Allah knows everything. Allah knows whatever you're hiding and whatever you are revealing. And so in Quran 3, verse number 44, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Zalika min amba il-gaybi nuhihi ilayke. These are accounts from the unseen, Allah, which we reveal to you, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So it is being revealed to the Prophet. He wasn't an eyewitness. وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ يُلْقُونَ أَكْلَامَهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ يَكْفُلُ مَرْيَمَ وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ يَقْتَسِمُونَ. You were not with them when they cast their lot as to which of them will take charge of Mary, nor were you with them as they quarreled. So it is Allah, the all-knowing, the all-seeing, the one who sees everything and knows everything, is the one that is giving us this account. Even if John was an eyewitness, John is not all-knowing, John is not all-seeing, John does not know tomorrow, John doesn't know what to think in your heart. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who knows everything from you, even in your heart, who can tell you what you are deciding and what you are thinking to do in your heart. He is the one that revealed the Quran, and his sources are the most authentic. We believe in that. Muhammad isn't the author of the Quran, inshallah.
John is an eyewitness. He lived with Jesus. He walked with Jesus. He saw Jesus' wonders and miracles, and he documented it fresh.
The Bible is called the greatest story ever told. The greatest story, not the greatest collection of facts, not the most paramount document on earth, the greatest story ever told. It's a story. One must know how to read the symbols and the emblems and the terms. And that is why
the symbols in the Bible
symbols
too
are in the Bible everywhere. I mean, did you know, for instance, that the book of Revelation was not written by Christians? The book of Revelation was around for at least 500 years before Christianity ever came into existence. The book of Revelation was already in circulation. No John ever wrote the book of Revelation. His name was Ion, I-O-N, from the Ionian Sea. And when in Latin, when you change I's to J, it becomes J-O-N. But in the English, it becomes J-O-H-N. So that today we're told that John wrote the book of Revelation. No such John ever wrote the book of Revelation. It was written 500 years before Christ was ever born.
Oh, this is just you know, earth-shaking.
Wait till the real truth comes out about religion and politics in America, and you're going to see.
It is never true, my brother. John was never an eyewitness. John 20 verse 30 has exposed you long ago. And John 21 verse number 23 to 24 has exposed you. John was reporting from a particular eyewitness, a particular disciple, in which we can't even prove. And the first Synoptic Gospels cannot even, we don't have a resignation that proves John was the author. John who? What is the saying name? John who? Which John? John 20 verse 10 says, and truly Jesus did many other signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book. It's not part of them, period. Let's go.
The Bible is called the greatest story ever told. The greatest story, not the greatest collection of facts, not the most paramount document on earth, the greatest story ever told. It's a story. One must know how to read the symbols and the emblems and the terms. And that is why
the symbols in the Bible
symbols
too
are in the Bible everywhere. I mean, did you know, for instance, that the book of Revelation was not written by Christians? The book of Revelation was around for at least 500 years before Christianity ever came into existence. The book of Revelation was already in circulation. No John ever wrote the book of Revelation. His name was Ion, I-O-N, from the Ionian Sea. And when in Latin, when you change I's to J, it becomes J-O-N. But in the English, it becomes J-O-H-N. So today we're told that John wrote the book of Revelation. No such John ever wrote the book of Revelation. It was written 500 years before Christ was ever born.
Oh, this is just, you know, earth-shaking.
Wait till the real truth comes out about religion and politics in America, and you're going to see the
fresh. So you're telling me that now I need to believe in someone coming 6 centuries or 7 centuries after the Holy Bible was documented. You want me to believe in a document that came 7 centuries after the Holy Bible. You want me to believe in someone that never saw Jesus, never lived with Jesus, never walked with Jesus, over the one who walked, lived, ate, embraced Jesus Christ every single day for 3 years and 4 months.
Well, this argument is it's a straw man's argument, a weak one. Christ came around somewhere around almost 2,000 years after Abraham, and yet he spoke about Abraham. The Jews did not believe in him. You know why? Because they were thinking like the way you are thinking. He came 2,000 years after him, yet he spoke about Abraham in John 8. The Jews were perplexed. They were surprised. Muhammad only came 600 years after Jesus, or 500 years after Jesus, and you are surprised he spoke about him, and you are surprised he's telling you the truth about him. Christ came almost all 2,000 years after Abraham, and he had to talk about Abraham, and yet you believe? Are you not? Should we accept this abnormal argument you are making? Your argument is very weak, straw man's argument. It does not even tally to sense and logic. Similarly, Christ came over 1,000 years after Moses, alayhi salatu wasalam. Over 1,000 years after Moses, and yet spoke about Moses. Should we believe in what Christ said? Should we believe in what Christ said then? Because he came after Moses. Nay, we are telling you that the messengers of God do not speak of their own opinion. They don't speak on their own authority. In huwa illa wahyun yuha. They are being revealed. It's a revelation. It's an inspiration from Allah, from the Almighty. John was never an eyewitness, and John can be an eyewitness. He can walk with Christ, but John can never know more than the Allamahu Shadidul Quwa. He can never know more than the most powerful Almighty God, Almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing God, who reveals through his angels to his messengers to mankind. John can never know that. Your argument is a straw man's argument. You are not communicating at all. If we are to work with what you are saying, we must throw away the entire New Testament. Okay, let's assume John walked with Christ. How about Paul? Did Paul walk with Christ? You believe in everything Paul said? You believe in everything Paul said? Did he walk with Christ? Did Paul walk with Christ? Was Paul part of the disciples too? So it is not about the years it took before Muhammad ﷺ came. It's about who is revealing the message to Muhammad. Is the person truthful? Can we trust the Bible? That's another problem. Watch this video and come.
Behind an incredible assortment of Bibles that span 6 centuries. I have Bibles from the 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, and 1900s. And you know what's crazy? No two of these Bibles reads the same. They all read differently. Now, a long time ago, pre-printing press, Bibles were handwritten. And here is a handwritten page from a Bible from over 800 years ago. And when you're copying something, mistakes creep in. Well, what about these Bibles? These Bibles are all done by hand, also in the sense that each word, each letter is hand-picked and put on a row upside down and backwards. And mistakes creep in. One of the most notable mistakes in a Bible translation or printing is the 1631 edition of the King James Bible. It's known as the Wicked Bible. Why? Because in the Ten Commandments it says, "Thou shalt commit adultery." Here's what that looks like. Now, other errors have crept in too over time. The Bible has been printed over 5 billion times, and there are 100 editions of the Bible in English alone. So the question is, which is the most accurate? Well, I'll leave that to the scholars.
When you look at the Bible and you look at the Quran, you ask the same questions. The Bible we don't have, and we would never claim that the Bible is eternal. Not this book here. This book is not eternal. Was it complete? We would say it was when it was written, but we will never know because we don't have the originals. We would not assume to have the originals. Why? Because they were written on papyri. Papyrus are nothing more than leaves. Leaves disintegrate within 100 years. We don't expect to have the original Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. And we have 19,800 translations in 11 different languages. We also have 5,300 Greek manuscripts, 10,000 Latin Vulgates, 9,000 in other languages. You add that all up, that's 24,000 manuscripts. We do have the New Testament. That means there's an enormous amount of corpus of material that we can look at. And we can see that there are differences between those manuscripts. We admit it. We even put it in our Bible. Mark chapter 16 is possibly an edition. I personally accept that that was probably a later edition.
So as you can see, we cannot put our trust in the gospel because there is none of these gospels are even matching to be the same. We cannot trust your book. فويل للذين يكتبون الكتاب بأيديهم ثم يقولون هذا من عند الله ليشتروا به ثمنا قليلا. Woe unto those who write books with their own hands and say this is from Allah. Quran 2 verse 79. When truth comes, falsehood perishes. For falsehood by its nature is bound to perish. وَقُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَذَاكَ الْبَاطِلُ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Zana Company Limited FFA. In fact, who a goodie, who a copper, who a silver, who a gold, our person will see when electroplating, when the baby ako against Zana Company Limited, who a goodie, or person won't understand your pay, when you the silver chain, when you the golden chain, when you the golden ring, then a person when you know Zana basis any amount. In fact, one organization sports, open cup, and open medals, be that to Mukomu, Zana Company Limited, but to me, I had any kind of jewelry at all. Zana Company and a young Wejuma. Zana ewa himfa. Here Zana ewa Nungwa behind Fidelity Bank. Raviko ewo and a Zana ewo. Number 7 fra Zana 0240 481 568 568 0240 481 568 and 0248 42 44 93 0248 42 44 93. We are Henny, we are Penny, we are Goody, we are Catesia, we are Bugger, we are Golden Chain, or a wrist banner, or Dana one, a gold, copper, silver, a jewel in Quadia. Quayo Pesa Yensies, no for more Biarano, about to me, I had the amount. It's a contact Zana Company Limited, now Wow, inshallah. And
Adam, Heba, and Spiritual Center, Mashallah,
Takbir.
Annabi Muhammad Sayyidun Annabi Muhammad Adin Annabi Muhammad Buhudin Annabi Muhammad Muqaddamu Annabi Muhammad Azizun Annabi Muhammad Fadilun Annabi Muhammad Mufaddilun Annabi Muhammad Muhammad Annabi Muhammad Muhammad Annabi Rasulallah Annabi